His superpowers are simply blissful. He just said that the teacher would like him. The next moment, he was pulled right into his arms. Even the schoolgirl couldn't escape his clutches. And then there was even more. Just a few days ago, Roy was a guy who was laughed at, but one lie put him on top of his game. His classmates teased him about needing a ride from his parents when he was this old. Roy then lied that his Porsche was still being serviced. This shocked his classmates, having tried the thrill of lying. Roy even hung a picture of the actress in his locker. He claimed to be her only boyfriend in California. A few seniors laughed madly at him, but Roy's story was so convincing. Gradually, they believed him. Finally back in class, the teacher's back captivated him. In the face of Anna's scornful mockery at his desk, he lies that the teacher has been courting him. At his previous school, he had been liked by all the girls in the school, but she is clearly not convinced. Anna also tells him to stop dreaming. In the canteen, Roy sees the new girl again. He was attracted by her beauty. So, in front of Anna, he tried to hit on her, but she was the girlfriend of the senior. She didn't give him a chance. Roy had to leave unhappy. Afterwards, he lied to the PE teacher. He lied to his PE teacher about being the best basketball player in the world. Even Jordan praised him. He told his bandmates that his father was the founder of a rock band. But after the lie, he hated himself for not telling the truth. Little did Roy know that after tonight, that all his lies would come true. The next day Roy arrived at school as he always did. When the teacher walked into the class, he was given a different look. Roy could only greet her awkwardly. Afterwards there was a group lesson to discuss. The teacher specifically asked Roy who he wanted to be in the group with. When Roy said he was going with Anna, the teacher's eyes grew sharper. This made Anna feel that something was wrong. Later in the class, the teacher kept looking for opportunities to sarcastic her. This made Anna feel puzzled. When it was time for lunch, she told Roy about the strange things that had happened. But just then, the schoolgirl approached her. She wanted to ask Roy to come over for dinner tonight. Roy didn't even think about it and said yes. Just as he was packing his things, the schoolgirl was already eager to come over. He just said that the schoolgirl would like himself, and she came to him right away. He has the power to make lies come true. The lies he told yesterday are coming true. In the classroom, the beautiful teacher was throwing her eyes at him. According to yesterday's lies, she's in love with him now. As Roy returned home happy, he was stunned by the sight before him. His mother had really become an artist. The living room was full of celebrities who had come to watch. His father had become a rock star. He was banging on about making a comeback. The next day his parents were in a hurry to go on a business trip. They threw the car keys to Roy and told him to drive slowly. It was then that Roy noticed the red Porsche outside the window. He smiled happily. It felt so good to have a lie come true. Then he couldn't wait to get into his luxury car and drive to school. On the way, he met the headmaster and showed off his car. But when he arrived at school, Anna was waiting for her in front of the classroom. Roy took out the data from the experiment they had worked on together. Only half of it was left, because the dog had torn it up. Anna kept complaining about him, but Roy wasn't the least bit alarmed, because now the beautiful teacher won't criticize him at all, maybe even give them top marks. And at the basketball game, Roy's lies were even more on display. A three-pointer at the drop of a hat. Even then the basketball would go in the basket, even when he was lying down. He hit every shot. The whole crowd was roaring for him. The coach was overjoyed by this. The senior was furious to see this. Not only was his girlfriend in love with Roy, even his career was now being challenged. He had a terrible plan in mind. Night Roy came to the party. The schoolgirl danced in front of him, but then the starlet arrives too. She found out about Roy's achievements on the basketball court and came to celebrate with a cake. Roy was at the height of his lies. The schoolgirl was in the toilet trying to make out with him when no one was looking. But then the schoolgirl's boyfriend burst in. He rushed towards Roy in anger and tried to beat him up. The schoolgirl sees this and desperately pulls her boyfriend by the neck. Roy was told to run away. This superpower also caused him some trouble. His parents have a disagreement at home. They are preparing for a divorce. Seeing the once harmonious family is breaking up, he began to regret. Even the moments of victory that he once enjoyed the most are now becoming tasteless. What he didn't expect was, the schoolgirl's boyfriend was jealous. He was about to beat him up. One night, they tied Roy to the back of the car. The senior tried to start the car, but he couldn't get it started. In a fit of rage, he took out the battery, trying to electrocute him right here. Just at the moment of contact, the police appeared just in time. Roy at the police station was reflecting on himself. The life he was living wasn't what he wanted, so he decides to return to the way he was. Then, when confronted with the schoolgirl's advances, Roy decisively refuses, and he burns his beloved Porsche. Then he came to Anna's to confess. I thought I liked being praised by everyone. In the end, it's the peace and quiet that counts. Then Roy went to his usual basketball game, but then he threw the ball into the audience. Roy got excited. His powers had finally disappeared, and it was no surprise that the game was lost. And in the audience, his parents were back to their old self. They were holding up support signs for him. The schoolgirl was back to giving him the cold shoulder. The crowd were throwing popcorn and bottles of mineral water at him. But he's enjoying it more than anything else. Mediocrity isn't scary. It's being caught up in your own lies that's the worst.